Hello, my friend. This is Northmere. In today's video, I want to talk about just getting shit out there, stop being a perfectionist. That can come later. So, some of the talking points here are perfectionism kills momentum. You can't improve what you haven't released, and speed builds skill. So I'm a 36-year-old man, and I've been doing creative projects ever since I was a kid. And the stuff that I took most seriously was my music, like many years ago now. I rapped in Norwegian, and I would spend so fucking long on stuff and never put it out there. And once I put it out there, it was to a crowd of crickets. No one ever recognized me or saw me or heard me pretty much, other than my closest friends. I mean, the worst thing was when I made an album back when I was like 18 years old. So this is a long time ago. This was like in 2007. Almost 20 years ago, I made 18 songs or 18 tracks that I put together to put out like an album, because I've always dreamt of making an album. Now, back then, people really recognized that effort. The internet was a totally different place then. And we had places like MySpace. So despite later on, when it was harder to put out stuff, back then I actually got quite a bit of recognition for those 18 tracks, but a lot of it was bad because, to be frank, like I hadn't built up any momentum. I hadn't builded my skills with an audience who could actually point me in some kind of direction. I had just put everything together in this one album, as I called it, and put it out. And it was such a lost potential because I could have just put out one song and gotten feedback on every single song and gotten my name out there and gotten a reputation and all of that shit. But instead, I decided to put out this whole album. Now, I don't blame myself. I was just an 18-year-old kid. But this is the complete opposite of what I'm doing with this channel. So I've put out some of the worst stuff that I've ever created, like created in breakneck speeds, just to build up a list of planned videos. And my philosophy was, I can come back to them later. So I have the option to fix them before release, but I have to build up a list of stuff that gets put out there. And I've decided to do short form content, even though I pretty much hated it to begin with, because I like sitting around watching something for a long period of time. But that's where I thought, okay, I'll do episodic short form. Now, some of this has totally flopped and hardly gotten any views, while others of these short films have gotten hundreds and some of them over 1,000 views. And I've never promoted this channel anywhere by the time this happened, by the way. So it's 100% organic. And given the fact that it's made with AI, a lot of it, it's controversial, and me just pushing shit out there like I was sitting on the shitter trying to get done before a date. Let's just say some of it got some pretty awful feedback as well. But I've kind of thought to myself, okay, maybe I'll read some of the awful feedback later on. And I mean, worst case scenario, nowadays you can use AI to look through your email, like use Google Gemini, have it look through your email and look through your comments. Worst case scenario. And I try to not read it if I have a general idea that it might be negative. I mean, as long as I know why it's negative, the feedback, then why care? You know what I mean? Sometimes you just put stuff out there. And unless I'm trying to hurt someone or I'm trying to put out some evil message into the world, I don't see why I should have a bad conscience about any of it. Just get the shit out there. Get the ball rolling. Perfectionism feels like high standards, but it's often just fear in disguise. Being afraid of being judged, not being good enough, and failing publicly. Now, social media is filled with content creators to the brim, so there's no shortage of new starts if you feel like it. And as of being judged, I mean, that's kind of what happens when you put your stuff out there. It's just the way it works. And not being good enough, nothing will ever be good enough. Like, it will never, ever, ever be good enough. Trust me, I've been there. I've tried, and it doesn't get good enough. And failing publicly isn't really a big deal. What I do professionally is I'm a teacher, so I fail publicly pretty much every single fucking day. But I've gotten so used to it that I don't really think about it anymore. I mean, I can be a perfectionist in my job as well, thinking like I can never have a bad lesson, but that doesn't work. You can only try to hold yourself up to certain realistic standards that you make based off of getting out there. And this applies to everything in life. Content creation as well as fucking dating on Tinder for that matter. You cannot sit around for all of eternity trying to put together the best fucking Tinder profile with the best fucking images before like putting it out there and actually seeing how it does. Same applies to YouTube. I can't hold myself up to some imagined standards. I have to actually put shit out into the world, see how it does, and then I can make the standards. You end up polishing something nobody has even seen yet. And sometimes it never even sees the light of day, which is why I have this whole planned list of videos that are going to be released no matter what unless I stop it. Because, I mean, life's too short, man. I might never put out many of those things. And I've dreamt of making my own films forever. Like I stayed glued in front of the television when I was a kid. That's always what I've dreamt of doing. And what often happens when you sit around making something creative is that you compare your first draft to someone else's final product, forgetting that they went through hundreds of messy versions. I mean, think about it. Who in their right mind could ever just make something perfect and putting it out there? It doesn't work like that. The randomness of this world is just too great for you to be able to think of all the possible outcomes and please everyone from the comfort of your sofa. It's just never happening. The stuff we have to compare our artwork with is finished and has gone through many, many hours of perfection and probably many years of ridicule and people laughing at them and making fun of them and giving them bad reviews and everything. So why imperfect actions prevail and win in the end? Momentum beats mastery. Consistency compounds faster than perfection. Now, I could have waited around and just put together long form content for YouTube, like making a long film. I have more than enough skill and know how to do that, but it would just come out to a crowd of crickets. I know from experience, like if you spend forever on those videos and you release them, no one gives a shit. And the feedback only comes after release. You can't adjust to what people want if you never show anything. I mean, I kind of made this point earlier with my Tinder example, but the same applies to everything. Like, you cannot adjust to what people want unless they see it. The internet rewards volume and authenticity, not being flawless. Authenticity is you being you and your circumstances being your actual circumstances. So maybe my AI animated shorts might look completely fucking broken and awful to a lot of people, and in a couple of years' time, maybe that is extremely charming, like people looking back, like with Will Smith eating spaghetti, and my stuff is in there, like, man, you remember when it was that horrible? And then it's being authentic, then it's being a product of the time, so to say. Now, I made an animated short film with AI way back when the first Will Smith AI video was released, back when we had Model Scope. And that thing I made was with Batman eating watermelon. And I was so ashamed of how bad the quality was that I never put it out there. And now I regret it, because now it's kind of like vintage, like shit. Stuff looked totally awful back then. And I wish I had it out there so that I could look back now and compare it to the stuff that's available now. But I never put it out there because I thought, nah, this shit sucks. And I still want to find those old AI animated films like Will Smith eating spaghetti and Vin Diesel drinking diesel. So why the fuck couldn't my Batman eating watermelon video be there with the rest of them? Because I thought I was so fucking special. Your messy version is still valuable. Someone out there needs exactly what you're making right now. That's my point. So how do we break the cycle of perfectionism? Well, for one thing, don't read the bad comments. I mean, that's easier said than done. You can use AI to look through your comments via Gmail. Talk to Google Gemini and say, hey, look through my Gmail and see what comments I got on YouTube. If they're bad, don't tell me. That's one thing you can do. You can set a good enough threshold. Once it hits that line, then publish. I mean, to me, that's kind of bogus, because nothing will ever be good enough. If I set a good enough threshold, then I'm never going to put anything out there. But I mean, it's a way you can do it. Or like I do, plan your sketches for release and say, okay, I have this long to get it done, and it will be released no matter what when that deadline hits. Limit your editing time. I get 20 minutes to fix this thing, then it goes out. Kind of what I said about planning something. And focus on the message, not the polish. Clarity outweighs aesthetics. So for example, I kind of see myself as an author with some of these short films I'm making. That the core, like the big thing that I'm doing is authorship, and it's a different way of telling stories. Where someone like my grandfather, I'm reading one of the books he wrote before he died. Back then, that was the only thing they had. Like, that was how they told stories. He never had the option to make short films. And the strength of what he made was in his message. And that's something I also think, like, message survives the test of time any day of the week. In a year, maybe we have LTX 3 or whatever, some fucking insane version of Sora or something that makes all of the AI generated video from this era be totally outdated. But one thing that it does not get outdated is the message. And treat everything as a draft, not the final masterpiece. So you don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start to become perfect. And perfection is a goal that is never reachable. Kind of like the speed of light. You can get to 99% of it, but you'll never actually get to it. Same applies to perfection. It's just never gonna happen. And the journey is much more important than the destination. So I kind of think to myself, like, I don't read comments. I just don't. If I want an honest opinion on something, I'll show it to a person I really respect and listen to what they have to say. Like famous musicians, actors, script writers, directors, they don't spend all day long reading negative comments. I couldn't imagine it in my wildest dreams. They might come across some of it and get a bad day because of it, but I think they try to avoid as much of that negative publicity as possible. Your future self will thank you for the messy version of you that you published today. This goes back to what I said about my Batman eating watermelon video back when AI was horrible. I wished I put that shit out there. Like, why couldn't I be one of those creators who made something with the first iterations when I already did? I mean, I already fucking did it. I just never put it out there, and now it's gone forever. It only exists in my memory. Because that PC got broken and the hard drive containing it is lost. So only I know that I made it. Now, what the fuck was the point of that? Someone could have been negative and said something bad. Like one of my YouTube shorts generated with AI that I actually put out there only got 33% positive feedback, like likes versus dislikes. But who gives a shit, man? Whatever. Being done is a superpower. Perfect is a trap. As long as you aren't trying to do something bad, like as long as you're not trying to put out some hurtful message into the world, then there's nothing to be ashamed of. Literally nothing to be ashamed of. If you're trying in any way, shape, or form to make someone else's day better by making something or expressing yourself authentically somehow, then share it. If not for everyone else, do it for yourself. Like I said, that animated short with Batman eating watermelon is lost for all of eternity. I only have it in memory. I wish I put it out there. Even if it would have gotten a ton of negative feedback. So stop waiting for perfect, hit publish, the perfection can come later. but only if you start now. The message is always the most important thing, and as long as you're trying to do something positive for someone, then it's worth it. And if you fail, man, then you did it for yourself. Excuse me, my dog is having a nightmare here. I don't know if you can hear it. She's probably dreaming of a cat or something. Yeah. I have a little cute golden retriever, 5 years old, that I got after me and my ex-wife got divorced. I took the dog, and I go for walks with her while writing the scripts for my short films. I've always dreamt of being a filmmaker. Like I dreamed of that. Dreamt, sorry. Long before I ever thought of making rap music, because I was stuck to the TV. I sat glued to the TV ever since I was a little kid. Like that's where I learned English and everything. So ever since YouTube became a thing, like way back in 2005 or whatever, the first thought that struck me all the way back then was, hey, maybe one day I'll be able to actually make movies or short films with actual stories. And now I'm there. It's tough as fuck, like a lot of people hate you for doing this AI stuff, which I mean, they're not in the wrong for doing that. I mean, AI can be dangerous, it can be positive, it can be horrible, for a whole host of reasons. Like that's a topic for a different video, but I've dreamt of doing this forever. So I'm not letting some perfectionism or bitch-ass haters stop me from doing what I always dreamt of doing. Yeah. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you got something out of this ramble. If not, then I got to vent a little bit. I really needed this after seeing some of the negative feedback I got on one of these shorts that I put out. Not even just one of them, like several of them. And I mean, a lot of people hate AI generated content, and I can't really blame them. But you still put a lot of effort into it, and I mean, I put a lot more effort into these AI animated short films than some fucking douchebag dancing in front of the camera and hardly even knows how to fucking dance, and people don't judge them closely as hard as someone who puts together something with AI. And the whole reason for that is because just AI is a topic of the day and it's controversial. That's it. So it's not really something to take personal at all. Yeah, okay. That's it for today, folks. You have a good day. See ya.